What's up guys, CJ here, and welcome back to another all-new Star Wars video exploring a Last Jedi deleted scene that shed a little more light on the philosophy of Luke Skywalker in that film and why he was such a hermit in general. With the DVD and Blu-ray release of Star Wars The Last Jedi coming up later this month, last week we got our first details about some of the deleted scenes that will be included in the home video release. If you remember, the original cut of the movie was actually well over 3 hours long, according to director Rian Johnson, and that's a lot of cut content, much of which was actually filmed. In light of that, the home release of the movie contains 14 deleted scenes. I wanted to highlight one scene in particular, one of 5 revealed by Entertainment Weekly last week, an extra scene from Ahch-To, which shed some light on Luke's teachings with Rey, and in my opinion clarified his philosophy a lot more quickly, and in a way that would probably have appealed to more EU fans. This deleted sequence takes place directly after Rey and Luke's second lesson, in the temple when Luke tells Rey about the fallings of the Jedi Order, and she realizes that he's completely cut himself off from the Force. The scene opens with Rey sitting up at the temple, as I said, immediately following that quote-unquote second lesson. She notices far below the temple, in the ocean, there's a line of lights moving towards the island. Curious, she asks Luke what exactly they are, to which the old master reveals one of the grim truths of life on Ahch-To. Those lights are pirates, more or less. They're coming to raid the village of the nun-like caretakers that keep up the Jedi temples on the island. We're led to believe this is a common occurrence, and without Jedi occupying the temple to protect the caretakers, these attacks are just kind of a fact of life. Rey, though ever an idealist, insists that they have to go stop it, and prepares to go down to the village to fight off the raiders, to which Luke reveals a lesson that might sound familiar to some fans of Star Wars video games in the old EU. One game in particular, which we'll talk about in a second. If Rey saves the villages and stops the raiders, Luke says, either defeating them or simply turning them back, they'll just return in greater numbers than before, and potentially after Rey's left the island entirely. So by stopping this one tragedy today, she might be causing an even greater one tomorrow, next week, next year, who knows. But Luke flips the script on her again in light of the second lesson. The Jedi would know this, and they would choose not to be involved in such a conflict because they understand the consequences of interfering. So, does she really want to be a Jedi? Rey, of course, doesn't listen and races down to stop them in a scene we actually saw in the first trailer for the movie, suggesting that this actually stuck around pretty late in the editing process. We don't know if we see the action sequence in the deleted scene as it isn't described, but I would bet not. But this does line up with set photos from when the project was filming on Skellig Michael, which seemed to reveal a nighttime action sequence kind of similar to the one that's being described here. All in all, this is a really interesting sequence in my eyes, and one that I wish would have made it into the film, if only for the fact that it would have been another action, sequence in the movie, and a chance for Rey to really show off her skills. Luke's philosophy of the potential and possibly destructive consequences of interfering reminds me of Kreia from Knights of the Old Republic 2, in her view of the Jedi, the Sith, and the Force in general. Abstractly, she viewed the Force as the root of all that was wrong in the universe, but the teachings of both the Jedi and the Sith as flawed and incorrect, all kind of based on this philosophy that intervening caused more harm than good.
And that is my lesson to you. Be careful of charity and kindness, lest you do more harm with open hands than with a clenched fist.
As for why the scene was cut, in the end, Rian Johnson just wanted the narrative to move in a different direction, one that honestly did work in the context of the film. This scene, with Luke refusing to help save innocent lives, was originally a big reason why Rey left Ahch-To and went to pursue Snoke and Kylo on her own. It left her in an even worse place with Luke when she connects with Kylo telepathically, coming off of a big conflict between master and student. Johnson ultimately felt like it was much more crushing, both for the audience and Luke himself, if it seemed like progress was being made between him and Rey, only for it to go south when Luke discovers her and Kylo speaking telepathically. It was also a little bit redundant in a way, as it was more of a practical example of Luke's philosophy that had just in the previous scene been explained to Rey. He doesn't just want to get involved in the problems caused by his nephew, he doesn't want to get involved with anything. In addition to what I see as a cool parallel with Knights of the Old Republic 2, it's also a callback to Empire Strikes Back in a way. Luke refusing to stay on Dagobah despite the urgings of Yoda and Obi-Wan that his leaving might cause even more pain and suffering for his friends than his staying. Let me know what you thought of the cut scene in the comment section down below, and if you would have liked it to be in the movie, but that's going to do it for me here. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to smash that like if you like what you saw, subscribe for more great content every single day, and consider turning on your notifications to be alerted every time we upload a new video. For even more content, check out our website at hybridnetworkyt.com or our gaming channel at HN Gaming. But if you love Hybrid Network and want to take your support to the next level, consider donating to us on Patreon as we strive to bring you the best content possible. Signing off, this is CJ, and I'll see you next time.